I've got Facebook here. I've got Instagram here on my phone. Excuse me. Specifically, I got Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or X. And I think that's all of them that are on my camera. Instagram's on my phone. What's up, Solange? I'm going to give you this quick and dirty live session. For those that don't know me, my name is Ren Jones. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified corrective exercise specialist, certified nutrition coach, level 1 and level 2. That means nothing to you. Then there's a whole laundry list of certifications that really don't apply to this conversation. And then there's the 3 most recent certifications, all in menopause specific health and fitness coaching. So I'm going to deliver another talk today about the over 40s, right? I'm over 40 at 49, rounding the corner to 50 here soon. But the women that I work with generally, and I only serve a population of women 30 and over. I don't work with men as a professional coach. The women that I serve are primarily kind of my peers right now. So they are 40 plus. Thus, they are probably in the throes of some section of the menopause transition, and they are voicing very, very common complaints to me as they just ask me questions on the internet or as they are new clients coming in. And one of those things sort of circulates around this concept of, Ren, I haven't changed my approach to nutrition very much, if at all, but all of a sudden I'm having challenges that I never had. It's not because I'm being bad with my nutrition. What is going on? And the challenges could be things like lower energy throughout the course of the day. Like, man, I feel like I'm eating and I never have energy, or excessive hunger, or unusual weight gain that they can't explain through any sort of overeating or making choices that aren't in line with whatever their intentions are for their health. Also, loss of muscle. I just can't keep my muscle. I hear this all the time. You know, there used to be places where I was toned and sort of firm, and now when I poke those places, they're sort of squishy. It seems like it happened overnight. So I'm here to give you 3 very small shifts for your nutrition, if you're a woman over 40, that would most likely are going to help you get better results and feel a little bit more like you're back on track. These things may be unusual to you because you may have come through diet culture in your 20s and your 30s, and your primary goal was to, for lack of a better term, to undereat, right? We call it a calorie deficit. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what lens you're looking through, this is no longer a time where your chief priority would need to be minimizing calories for the purposes of staying in a calorie deficit, simply because of what your hormonal profile is doing that's brand new to you, and because of a few other things that are a derivative of that hormonal profile. So before I get into this, if you've been here with me all week at 8:00 p.m., I have to pay the bills first, because as a coach who does only this professionally for their living, I enroll clients on a cyclical basis. Usually the last week of every month, I have open enrollment to take in new clients. I've had a lot of coaches joining me recently, which I love. So ladies, if you're out there and you're a coach and you're a woman over 30 and you want to outsource your fitness, please do that. But generally speaking, I'm currently enrolling 5 women over 30 who want to feel at home in their body again. Another consistent refrain that I hear, like, I don't feel like this is me. Like, somebody snatched my body away and gave me this other body, and I don't understand it. If you want to feel at home in your body again, increase your strength, increase your energy again, be able to last through 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon without feeling like you have to intravenously inject caffeine into your bloodstream. And if you want to develop a healthier relationship with food, sort of get off the diet roller coaster that happened, that you were admitted onto in your 20s and 30s, and do all of that without making fitness your life's mission, unless you're a coach, then I can understand that. But without spending hours and hours and hours in the gym, because more is not better, it's just more at this phase in your life. If that sounds like a great 12 or 15 week program that might work for you, DM me the word live, LIVE. I'll know that you saw me here, and I'll know what you heard me say, and we'll go back and forth in the DMs to see if what I do, my programs, might be a good fit for you. Now that the bills are paid, let's get into the information. So tip number one, and I call these teeny tiny tips that will probably make a huge difference in your results. And tip number one is to eat breakfast, right? And this can be problematic, particularly for women who like to train first thing in the morning. It can also be problematic if you came through the era of fasted cardio. You know, everybody that was sculpted on the internet or in magazines where they were singing the praises of fasted cardio or fasted exercise. We're going to circle back around to that in a second. Or if you've just always been a person that didn't like breakfast because of breakfast foods. Here's why eating breakfast is important. There's a few different reasons based on the research. Number one is your incredible need for protein at this stage in your life. I touched on this last night. I touched on this the night before. I can harp on it consistently forever because at this phase in your life, two crucial things have happened simply due to age. Number one, somewhere around 30, you started losing muscle. Protein makes muscle. So if you want to maintain what a lot of women will affectionately call their tone, I want to keep my tone, I want to be toned, I want to have tone, I want to tone up. Well, that's muscle. That's what tone is. And from 30 on, naturally, you're losing muscle. You're losing your tone. I mentioned this last night, and I don't mention this to be a judgmental person of other people's bodies. I mentioned it because one of my clients said it to me once, and I immediately understood what she was trying to say. Thank you, Valorine. Yes, you need protein. Sensational I've got to find you and follow you if I'm not following you, because anybody that says they're sensational, I need to speak to that person on a regular basis. But what my client described to me many, many years ago was, Ren, I want to lose weight, but look, I don't want that melted candle look. And I had sort of an internal chuckle because I had never heard someone say that before, but I immediately knew what she meant by that. Again, I'm not the type of person that judges people's physiques. What you do and what you want for your body is none of my business unless you hire me to help you get a certain thing. But I totally got that. And that, even though it's a horrible thing to say, it does spring a picture in your mind, right? And that particular picture is a result of lack of muscle, point blank, period. Like, you just don't have any muscle on your body. So if you're already losing muscle at 30, and then we know from the science, the literature, that rate of muscle loss accelerates in perimenopause, which is the very front door of the menopause spectrum. Peri to menopause, menopause to postmenopause. Perimenopause is the phase at which the most muscle is lost the most rapidly. So at the gateway of 38, 39, 40, if you can prioritize muscle, you will do yourself a great service in maintaining not only your energy, not only your look, if that's important to you, but also your insurance against cardiovascular disease. So in order to do that, you need protein anyway. So eat in the morning, because protein can't be stored all day in your body. Whatever you don't absorb at that feeding, it's excreted out. I always say the same thing, and probably some of you heard me say this ad nauseum. Imagine protein or amino acids, which are the broken down forms of protein, but imagine protein being like a mop bucket that you dump into a sink. The sink isn't stopped up though. So for a while, because of the rush, the sink will fill up a bit, but over the course of a few seconds or minutes, depending on how much water and how small the drain is, that it'll drain down and it'll be empty. That's how amino acid pools work in your cells, during the course of the day. So you can't just get all the protein you need at the front of the day or wait till the midday and get all the protein you need. You need an even distribution of it throughout the course of the day. So eating breakfast gets that started, and having that protein early sets you on the path to having protein throughout the day. And having protein throughout the day reduces your overall hunger and blood sugar fluctuations and prevents you from feeling so snacky at the end of the night. And protein is made into muscle. Muscle is tone, and tone is probably what you're fighting to reclaim at this point in your life. So the first small hinge that will swing a big results door for you is eating breakfast and making sure that there's protein involved with it. Dr. Kellogg did us all a disservice because he got us hooked on breakfast foods. And I know so many people that don't like breakfast foods. Guess what you can eat in the morning if you don't like breakfast foods? You can eat a salad with chicken in it. You can eat pork chop if that's your deal. You can have some salmon. You can have any other fish. You can go for steak and potatoes in the morning if you want it and you can tolerate it. So remove the concept of what a breakfast food is and operating specifically in that tiny Dr. Kellogg circle to push stock options for Kellogg's up and up. Maybe Post is your jam, right? Post cereals. I know I enjoy a good cereal. I'm a person who loves sweets in the morning, but I've learned that I try to incorporate something savory and something that has protein involved in it. Not about me. I'm a whole other entity. You're talking about XX chromosome versus XY. What I do is of no concern to you generally because you're completely different due to sex differences of birth. So let me get back on the right train. Isn't that just like a dude take a whole conversation with women and just center himself? Men, tell you. But back to you. So eating something savory can be a godsend for you. But getting your feeding started earlier in the day makes it simpler to execute on a very fast, get enough fuel during the day and getting enough protein throughout the day to match that fuel if specifically you're an active woman over 40. Didn't have my chat up on the Facebook. I already got somebody said live. If that's something that's a part of your life, being active, exercising, and if you're here, it probably is. For my clients, it better be. But that's something to consider. Tip number 1, eat some breakfast, man. Tip number 2, based on research that may shock a few of your systems, is not only the fact of getting proper fuel throughout the course of the day, but at this point in your hormonal profile, something that's important that you've been told isn't important, nutrient timing becomes a thing, right? Now, you may see very, very well educated, evidence-based men and some women on the internet or in any other forum saying, hey, nutrient timing is not a thing. It doesn't matter when you eat. And they are absolutely right for men, right? As a matter of fact, 80 to upwards of 90% of all evidence-based research for fitness and wellness is done on men because women are too complex to yield results that most researchers want to arrive at. There's too much shifting in monthly hormonal cycles, right? So you got 5 women in their follicular phase, we've got 10 women in their luteal phase, we got 30 women who are on oral contraceptives, 20 women who are not. And it's just maddening for research specifically, unless the researchers are specifically funded to dive into women's research. Otherwise, the larger percent of everything that you hear about fitness and wellness is male data from some 25-year-old boys who just got out of college and are in graduate school, because it's easier to get data with them because of the fact that there's not the significant hormonal fluctuations. Again, you've got the menstrual cycle, number 1, then you've got any oral contraceptive they might be taking, anyone that may be in the menopause, like most studies aren't set up to accommodate that. So a lot of evidence-based information you hear, there were no women involved in the study. That's why This is why I have a women's coaching specialist certification through Girls Gone Strong, and why I have 3 different menopause specialist certifications, because the certifications that I was educated through, in addition to my normal, certified personal trainer, but the certifications that I've been through were based on women specific research, right? Because we're 2 completely different animals, as Dr. 𝗱cie Sims so eloquently puts it. Women are not just small men, right? It's a completely different physiology here. So number 2, I'm rambling, is to time your nutrition around your workout, specifically as you start the perimenopause to menopause to postmenopause spectrum. You need to be fueled for your exercise. Now, Ren, what are you telling me here? Like, are you telling me I need a Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity from IHOP, right? I'm going to be sick and bloated, and I'm going to have flatulence in the gym. I can never exercise like that. If exercising early in the day is your strategy, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying just get a little fuel, right? I've heard Dr. Sims herself say that she'll put a little protein in her morning coffee drink, right? About 15 grams of protein, no big deal. Just getting some fuel in, a bit of carbohydrate to get the day started, right? To fuel up for the exercise, because in the menopausal spectrum, you have a lack of estrogen. Estrogen helps protect against stress. The estrogen flowing through your body in your reproductive years improves stress resilience. Now, if you're trying to work out underfueled, your stress indicators are going to go up, and your body's not going to be as resilient to the lack of fuel as you dive into a workout. Your intensity throughout the course of your workout isn't going to be quite as maintainable either. So you're not going to be able to create the appropriate stress necessary at this, and I mean good stress, eustress, EUSTRESS, versus distress. Eustress is the good stress, right? The stress that you need to create in terms of your body through your workout to elicit change, a modification, an adaptation, we call it. You require a little bit more of the tension on the muscles now, because again, estrogen was helping you to maintain and build that muscle, right? You have less of it now, going into flatlining estrogen as you get into postmenopause. So chemically and biologically, there are very significant differences in what you were able to do previously and what you're able to do now. Hence, a lot of the frustration that women get into as they're exercising through their 40s and 50s. Because what I hear again very often is, I'm doing all the stuff that always worked and none of it's working. Everything seems to be backfiring. It's just that there's a lack of shared information here, and a lack of deep understanding of what's actually happening in your body, unfortunately. But we're going to work that out here tonight. So you want to book in your training. Get a little fuel before you train. 30 minutes, 40 minutes before you train. Can you add a little protein in from a source that may not make you nauseous, right? I don't expect you to eat, a large meal before you train, although I would, because I'm a knucklehead, but I'm also not a woman. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm saying, can you find a little bit of fuel? I know peanut butter isn't the best source of protein. It's not a protein, it's a dietary fat. But some peanut butter on some on like a grain-based, a seed-based toast, like an Ezekiel bread toasted. They have a delicious cinnamon and raisin Ezekiel bread. If you have an aversion to what's the celiac disease, gluten or anything like that, avocado toast. Like I said, a half scoop of protein powder in your morning drink, even if that's a cold coffee drink or a hot coffee drink. I don't drink coffee at all, so I don't know what goes on with the 𝗵𝗶 latte grande. I don't understand the language, but it could very well be half a can of tuna, right? Just a little something to alert your body to the fact that it is protected, and to allow for some energetic response when you start exercising. And then within, I say 30 minutes, could be an hour. Within an hour or 30 minutes of exercising, fueling again. And in this case, we want about 30, 35, 40 grams of protein and carbohydrate after that workout. You might say, why, Ren? There's no such thing as the anabolic window. Perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause spectrum, your body is much more likely to stay in a breakdown state, a catabolic state. And what that means is your body starts to use up some muscle, right? Starts to eat away at itself for recovery, which could also lead you to gaining excess body fat. I do not have a war against body fat as a coach, right? But I do have a need to ultra protein. Absolutely. It's great. I have a need to provide you with the information that allows you to generate the results that allow a return on your investment of time spent exercising and effort put into exercising. Nobody builds a house for 16 hours straight and then on the 17th hour strikes a match and lights it on fire. That's what you're doing if you're going into the gym, exercising strenuously, particularly strength training or high intensity training, either one of those, or in high intensity strength training. If you do that, come out and don't refuel, you're leaving your body in a breakdown state, and it's going to break down tissue. And the tissue isn't just going to be muscle. You're going to have to start to have compromising with bone density, compromise with ligaments and tendons, et cetera, et cetera. So it's important. Most women have about an hour-ish before that breakdown starts to occur. For men, it could be up to 16 hours. So again, you can see why you may hear there's no such thing as the anabolic window. Great for men, might be okay for pre-menopausal women in their reproductive years who have that normal, consistent flow of estrogen. 40 plus, like 𝗬𝗓 said in Ghost, Annie, you in danger, girl. So you got to be sure that you bookend your training with nutrients. And if you don't trust me, Google Dr. Stacy Sims. And if you don't trust that, Google Celine Yeager. And if you don't trust that, Google Dr. Carla D. I can never pronounce her last name. But there's plenty. Google Bill Campbell. He does great research in this regard. I follow him on Instagram. So that's the second small change. Just when you eat around your workout. Small change, small hinge, swings a big door. The third one, I saved the third for last because I'm going to get crucified for saying this because everybody always hates when I mention this. And the third thing that you might want to consider is redefining your relationship with alcohol, right? Now, blessed women out there, beloveds, I am not a person who's in the convincing business. It's not what I do as a coach. I'm in the coaching business. I'm in the information business and solution business. I'm not trying to take anybody's wine away, right? I know that I know for people that love their sophisticated glass of wine in the evenings, that's their gem and that's what they're going to do. And anything that I'm doing that you're doing the opposite of and you're getting great results, keep on doing that. What I know from the research and the science is that any symptomatic issue in the menopausal spectrum that occurs is made worse by alcohol. Doesn't make anything better. I also know that of the women that I've been able to work for, of the colleagues, the women that I've been able to work with, and of the mentors, the women that I've been educated by, I've never had one woman say that, I relaxed on the alcohol, I reduced the alcohol, I stopped with the alcohol, and I feel much worse. Across the board, every time, without question, they are always shocked by how much better their body responds to everything. Better sleep, better clarity for the mental fog associated with the menopause spectrum, better ability to train, better ability to maintain muscle, less vasomotor symptoms. That would be things that come in the category of hot flashes or flushes, night sweats, etc., less migraines, another common menopausal symptom. You name it, and maybe you don't need to stop it, but maybe you relax your relationship for 15 days and see how, 2 weeks, 14 days, and see how you feel. Maybe 30 days and see how you feel. It's a small shift, small hinge, swings a big door, right? You can see some determinable improvements across the board in doing that. And they're great people to follow on LinkedIn. One of my favorites, 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗲, 𝗀𝗄𝗶Ｈ𝗴𝗲. Great account to follow here. If you're just sort of sober curious, right? You want to see what other types of drinks, what other type of fun things could I do with beverages that don't include alcohol, but still allow me to interact socially, et cetera, et cetera. And from her page, she's got other people on her page that talk about sobriety, curiosity. I'm not accusing anyone of being addicted to wine or anything like that. It's just ultimately, if it's not problematic for you in the context of your relationship, ultimately it's a very, very small hinge that could possibly swing a very, very big door for you. My clients will tell you firsthand that I don't tell anybody that they have to do anything. And most of the time, we don't even have this discussion. I just make the information available to them. It's not my job to make decisions for the people that hire me. It's my job to inform them so that when they make a decision, their decision is informed. And as long as your decision is informed, whether you choose to or not to, irrelevant to me. As my friend 𝗀𝗄𝗶, one of the head brains over at Precision Nutrition says, I approach my clients with something called unconditional positive regard. And that simply means that I am in no way attached to your choices personally. What do I care if you gain 10 pounds, if you lose 10 pounds, if you run a mile, if you don't run a mile, if you eat chocolate cake every day, if you don't? None of my business. My job is to inform you, to support you, and to help you emotionally self-regulate through shifts and changes and challenges in your life. So that's my 3 points tonight. That's my quick and dirty live session. 3 relatively small shifts in your nutrition for women over 40 can make huge changes in the direction of your own intention for your health goal. I'm going to pay the bills one more time because I'm currently enrolling no more than 5 women over 30 who want to feel at home in their body again, develop a great relationship with their body, strengthen their body, all while developing a relationship with food that does not require any calorie counting or macronutrient counting, no algebra every time you want to eat. Also, no weighing or measuring and no off-limit foods. We don't do, like T'Challa said, like Black Panther said in Infinity War, we don't do that here. So if that sounds like you, DM me the word live, LIVE. I'll know where you saw me and where you saw the extension of the opportunity. We'll have a short chat in the messaging to see if or how I might be able to assist you, and we'll take it from there. And until tomorrow, let's keep it simple. I'll see you soon, Facebook and